LeBron James is the NBA, and the NBA is LeBron James. And it's point blank, period. There's no other way around it. Come on now, this conversation is dead. It's LeBron James. When you talk about accolades, check, check, check. When you talk about longevity,
Kendrick Perkins has always spoken with conviction, but this time he did more than just talk. He shut down the most divisive debate in basketball history. The Michael Jordan versus LeBron James conversation has been raging for decades, with fans split across generations, but Perkins brought the final word. He didn't disrespect MJ. He didn't deny the greatness of the past. He simply declared the truth of the present. LeBron James is no longer just a player in the league, he is the league. As the game evolved, LeBron remained its constant. From high school phenom to global icon, his impact has grown far beyond the hardwood. In this video, we break down Kendrick Perkins' most defining statements on the GOAT debate, quote by quote. Buckle up and stay until the end, because this might be the last time anyone ever needs to argue about who the greatest truly is. And if you're passionate about NBA debates and never want to miss a moment of truth, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe right now to NBA Showdown. When Kendrick Perkins began by stating that he meant no disrespect to Michael Jordan, he set the tone for a deeper, more honest conversation. Wearing Jordans on his feet, he made it clear that honoring the past does not mean ignoring the present. That is what makes his statement so powerful. By acknowledging Jordan's legacy, Perkins created space to transition into the reality of LeBron's dominance without discrediting MJ's contributions. This was not an attempt to rewrite history, it was an attempt to clarify the present. Perkins argued that the GOAT conversation is over because LeBron James has surpassed it. In his words, LeBron is the GOAT. He made this declaration not as an emotional fan, but as someone who has played the game, studied its evolution, and watched LeBron redefine what greatness looks like. It is a nuanced take. Kendrick wasn't saying Jordan was overrated. He was saying LeBron's influence has now exceeded the boundaries of competition. The argument is no longer based purely on rings or MVPs. It is about how LeBron has become the face of the game itself. From social impact to statistical dominance, LeBron's legacy spans decades and continues to expand. The debate is no longer needed because the answer is evident in every arena, every season, and every milestone he reaches. Perkins wearing Jordans while making this statement also symbolizes the baton being passed. He respected the past while embracing the present, and that, in essence, is what greatness looks like, when legacy meets reality and one surpasses the other.
when it comes down to the GOAT conversation, and no disrespect to MJ, because I got J's on my feet right now, but come on now, this conversation is dead. It's LeBron James.
Kendrick Perkins took his position to another level when he introduced the word synonymous to define the relationship between LeBron James and the NBA. This was not just clever wordplay. It was a profound claim about the inseparability of LeBron from the sport itself. To say someone is synonymous with an entire league means they are the embodiment of that league's identity. And in LeBron's case, Perkins argued that there is no distinction between the NBA and the man himself. Every record, every milestone, and every cultural moment tied to basketball in the past 2 decades has involved LeBron in some way. Whether you look at playoff battles, international expansion, media influence, or even player empowerment, LeBron has been the centerpiece. What makes this statement even more potent is its simplicity. Kendrick was not diving into complicated stats. He was stating a fact most people feel but hesitate to say out loud. LeBron is not just one of many stars. He is the defining figure of modern basketball. The word synonymous erases the need for comparison. It moves the conversation beyond debates and into identity. You do not debate whether water is wet or whether the sky is blue. And that is how Kendrick positioned LeBron James. He is not part of the conversation. He is the subject of it. From high school prodigy to NBA legend, LeBron has grown with the league, and in many ways, the league has grown through him. Perkins' use of that one word framed the entire argument in a new light. It is no longer about who was better in their prime. It is about who defines the league right now. And according to Perkins, that definition is LeBron.
Synonymous. You know what that means?
Okay.
Meaning one and the same. That's what the NBA and LeBron James is.
Perkins did not just talk around the point. He drove it home with clarity when he said that the NBA is LeBron James and LeBron James is the NBA. That line alone carries the weight of 2 decades of dominance. What Kendrick meant was simple. There is no way to separate the evolution of the NBA from the career and presence of LeBron. It is a mutual identity. You cannot discuss the rise of player empowerment, off-court branding, championship pursuits, or even All-Star Weekend without bringing up LeBron. Perkins emphasized that there is no alternate route or hidden argument. The relationship is one and the same. Point blank, period. No counterpoint needed. He wanted to make it clear that the conversation is not only settled, but unnecessary. LeBron's accolades are not only impressive, but complete. His narrative has been told through every lens imaginable. From doubters to believers, from critics to fans, the consensus keeps growing, and Perkins made sure to state that this connection between the league and LeBron is not just emotional, it is structural. Everything about how the league markets itself, how teams operate, and how young players develop has some connection to what LeBron has built. It goes beyond greatness. It becomes foundational. LeBron is not a reflection of the NBA. He is its mirror. When he moves, the league adjusts. When he speaks, the league listens. That kind of influence is rare and unmatched. Kendrick wanted to emphasize that this is not a temporary moment or a fleeting phase. It is the final chapter in a long debate. The game has changed, and LeBron is the reason why. That is the message behind point blank period. It means the conversation ends here.
LeBron James is the NBA, and the NBA is LeBron James. And it's point blank period. There's no other way around it.
Accolades, longevity, legacy. Kendrick Perkins lined them up like a checklist and marked each box with absolute certainty. In this section of his commentary, he was not trying to argue through emotion. He was laying out facts. When it comes to individual accomplishments, LeBron has done it all. Scoring titles, MVPs, All-Star selections, finals appearances, championships, Olympic medals, every significant measure of greatness has been checked. But what Perkins did differently was to combine all these accomplishments under one umbrella and ask a simple question. Who has had the greatest career in the history of basketball? His answer was LeBron James. It is not just about peaking at the right time. It is about staying at the top for an unprecedented length of time. Longevity matters because it proves consistency, it proves durability, it proves adaptability. LeBron has not just played in multiple eras. He has dominated in all of them. That is what Kendrick Perkins meant when he said, check, check, check. Each accolade adds a layer, and each year extends the narrative. What makes this even more important is how Perkins addresses the complete nature of LeBron's journey. He is not just a stat machine or a highlight reel. He is a complete basketball experience. From leadership in the locker room to impact in the community, LeBron's resume is not only long but deep. Kendrick's point is that when you add it all up, there is no other player whose career even comes close. It is not about moments. It is about a lifetime of achievement. And in that context, LeBron stands alone, not just as a player, but as a symbol of what is possible in the game of basketball.
When you talk about accolades, check, check, check. When you talk about longevity, talk about having the greatest career of all time.
In his argument, Kendrick Perkins directly confronts the most repeated counterpoint in the MJ versus LeBron debate by calling out Stephen A. Smith. Perkins does not deny Jordan's greatness, nor does he dismiss the accolades that defined Jordan's legendary career. But he makes one thing very clear. This is basketball, not an individual sport. Perkins points out how Stephen A. Smith often leans heavily into the 6 championships, the MVPs, and the clutch moments that Michael Jordan had. And while Perkins gives credit where credit is due, he reminds everyone that championships in basketball do not solely depend on one man. The sport demands collective effort, team dynamics, and chemistry. This sentiment removes the notion that one player's ring count can be the deciding factor in the GOAT conversation. Kendrick wants us to recognize that Jordan was great, but so were the teams that surrounded him. If Jordan's greatness came with help from elite teammates, why is it suddenly a knock on LeBron if he had to lean on his team as well? Basketball is not boxing where you fight alone, or tennis where it is just one against one. LeBron's legacy, as Kendrick explains, should not be put under a microscope based on team championships. Instead, it should be evaluated on the magnitude of his overall contributions, the longevity of his dominance, and the fact that he stayed relevant for 2 decades across completely different eras. In this view, LeBron is no longer just one of the greats. He is the one who redefined what it means to dominate a team sport, not by collecting rings alone, but by impacting every aspect of the game over a sustained period.
And again, I know Stephen A. is going to come up here talking about he went to 6 finals and won all 6 finals MVP. Good for him. Kudos to Mike. But again, I keep telling y'all, this is not an individual sport.
Kendrick's breakdown of this flawed comparison flips the traditional narrative and takes the emotional edge off the usual 6-ring argument. Instead of trying to match Jordan ring for ring, LeBron is being presented as the player who transcends the very measurement of greatness. Kendrick Perkins continues to hammer home his point by stating what many refuse to acknowledge. This is not tennis, this is not golf, and most definitely, this is not boxing. It is team basketball. Perkins wants us to understand that success in the NBA is not earned in isolation. Every legendary career is backed by a collective, from the coaching staff to the role players and everything in between. What makes LeBron different is not just that he won, it is how he carried teams. He did it in Miami, he did it in Cleveland, and he did it in Los Angeles. Each team, each roster, each situation was drastically different, and yet he found a way to elevate all of them. Perkins is effectively dismantling the idea that rings alone should define legacy. He explains that yes, championships matter, but they are not the singular defining trait of basketball greatness. That is a narrow way of looking at an incredibly complex game. Team chemistry, front office decisions, coaching, and luck with injuries all play into a championship run. In Kendrick's mind, that context cannot be ignored. And when you apply that same lens to LeBron's career, it only magnifies his greatness. He has been the consistent factor in an ever-changing league. He has played with different teammates, under different systems, and against evolving defenses, and he has continued to dominate. That is where the conversation about the GOAT must shift. If you evaluate basketball like a solo sport, then Jordan seems untouchable. But if you evaluate it for what it is, a team team-driven competition, then LeBron's influence, adaptability, and longevity outshine even the most perfect 6-for-6 finals record. Kendrick's analysis reminds us that greatness cannot be boxed into outdated metrics. It evolves. And LeBron James has not just kept up with that evolution, he has driven it. In the framework Perkins provides, LeBron is the face of a sport that is bigger than one-man performances. He is the embodiment of modern basketball.
Boxing, this is not golf, this is not tennis. Championships help your legacy, but it does not define your legacy when it comes down to a team sport.
As Kendrick Perkins nears the end of his argument, he delivers the statement that puts everything into perspective. He brings up the fact that LeBron James is now the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, and then he firmly says it. The debate is over. That record, that level of sustained dominance, that unmatchable consistency, it settles everything. For Perkins, this milestone is not just a number. It is the ultimate proof that LeBron James is the most impactful player the NBA has ever seen. He did not just climb the scoring ladder, he shattered it, and he did so while being a pass-first player for the majority of his career. That alone is a testament to his balance, his understanding of the game, and his ability to elevate others while still dominating individually. Kendrick is not taking anything away from Michael Jordan. He knows MJ paved the way, but the point is clear. The road Jordan built has been expanded, lengthened, and fully taken over by LeBron. With the scoring title secured, every counterpoint to LeBron's legacy begins to lose strength. He has outlasted eras. He has adjusted to rule changes. He has stayed relevant and dangerous against multiple generations of superstars. And now, he stands alone at the top of one of the most sacred statistical categories in NBA history. That is not just longevity, that is legacy. Perkins is right in calling the conversation dead, not because it is disrespectful to debate it, but because the facts no longer support an argument against LeBron. The career, the numbers, the influence, the cultural impact, and now the history books all point in one direction. Kendrick Perkins delivers the final nail in the coffin. The debate is no longer necessary. LeBron James is the standard. He is the lead, and the game will forever be remembered in two parts: before LeBron and after LeBron.
So when it comes down to the GOAT conversation, and we're about a week away, or a little less than a week away than LeBron James' all-time leading scorer in NBA history, I think this conversation is dead.
Kendrick Perkins has made his stance crystal clear. This is no longer about emotional attachment to the past. It is about accepting the facts of the present. Michael Jordan had his era, and his greatness is sealed in history. But LeBron James is more than an era. He is the NBA. His fingerprints are all over the evolution of the game, the culture, and the global appeal of basketball. From his longevity to his consistency, from his accolades to his adaptability, every element of his career supports the claim. The conversation is not about 6 rings anymore. It is about who truly carried the sport through the toughest transitions, who stayed on top the longest, and who did more with what they had. Kendrick Perkins believes LeBron James has answered all the questions and cleared every hurdle. He has built a legacy that is not dependent on nostalgia. It is rooted in reality, and the reality is simple. LeBron James is the NBA, point blank, period.